Welcome to Story Route Zero.
This is a podcast where friends gather to talk about the good, the bad, the ugly, and the strange worlds of video games. We often don't know where we're going, but that's half the fun. Come on the journey with us. Hit us up on Twitter at StoryRoute0. You can send us an email at StoryRoute0@gmail.com. That includes questions, concerns, comments, complaints, pet pics. Send us some recipes. Send us some stories about your day. We're going to listen.
Podcast, start your engines. We have liftoff. Let's have a journey.
Lost generation, fast-paced nation, world population confront the frustration. The principles of true hip-hop have been forsaken. It's all contractual and about money-making. This is Story Route Zero, episode number 71. My name is Matthew Shithogs Keel. I have some co-hosts I almost said co-hogs in tow.
Get this.
Shithog number one, he spoke first. Moose Cluel, how are you, sir?
Doing well. How you doing, man?
I'm great. I am
good. I
have so much energy today. It's ridiculous. Usually the least energy among us on a Monday. Michaela Crishone, how are you?
Am I?
Or Michaela, it says Melody at the bottom.
For fuck's sake.
I'm
out.
And in with the win, Jason Marshall representing Jersey, and I can't tell what's behind you, but I should.
Final Fantasy. We do this
Final
every
Fantasy,
5 episodes. Change the background, you don't know what it is.
Sure. But I've played so few Final Fantasy games, and there are so many.
Should change that.
I've been thinking about it. I've only played the first 3.
Yeah.
The first 2 and Super Nintendo 3, which is 6.
Wait till the news. If the news pans.
Okay.
Wait, don't get me going.
Okay.
I know. Look whose energy's perking up. It's so nice to have you on a Monday, Melody. Anyway, how was everybody's? Yeah, I deserve that. How was everybody's weekend? I was gone last week, so I've gotten some rest. But Michaela, how's moving going?
It's good. I haven't moved physical space yet, but I have renamed the apartment. This is no longer the Den of Centipedes, but Boxlandia. See those boxes up to the ceiling?
It sounds as underwhelming. I mean, it sounds like Portland, where there's only one port. You've only got one stack of boxes.
Well, that's the only one you can see in the camera, but that's just my bookshelf, and it's not even all of my books. There's more books under this table.
Oh yeah, you gotta hold the mic on something. I like how you did that, like you're expecting like a hot take from the crowd or something. You're like, look at this.
My empty bookcase. But yeah, moving has progressed. I feel like no matter how much I do, I haven't even put a dent in it yet, but I know I have. It just doesn't feel like I have. I still need to do my kitchen. That's like a big project that I still need to do is the kitchen. But it's kind of hard to pack up the kitchen when you still need to like eat for several days.
Yes, that is, you are correct. That is hard to do.
It's like when you're going on a trip, you don't pack the stuff you need for the bathroom till right before you leave.
Exactly. Yep. Haven't done the bathroom yet either. So, but I have packed stuff. Our living room is kind of bare, like all of my gaming stuff pretty much, except for the actual consoles themselves. So like all of my physical media, all of the controllers and stuff are it's all packed. Started taking some stuff out of here already. I went home this weekend because lots of family birthdays. So my mom's 40th birthday is this week. Please don't kill me, Mom. Her birthday is Thursday.
That's all right. I'm 41 and my mother's still 29. No one knows how it works.
Yeah, it's magic. Moms do that. But my sister flew home from Charlotte for the week to surprise my mom. So she's home right now. I went home this weekend to see everybody, to grab more boxes and suitcases and stuff like that for moving. And we took my great aunt actually out to lunch because she's turning 91 and we didn't get to do her 90th during COVID last year. But I have multiple trips home planned this week. Thursday, we're taking my mom out to dinner. And then the day before that, all of her sisters are coming over to her place to celebrate because there's 5 of them. And 4 out of the 5 were born in the last 2 weeks of May into the beginning of June. So they kind of just all share birthday. So lots of family stuff, lots of moving and packing stuff. And then Jess and I also did like we set aside some time to do like a last roommates hurrah this weekend. And we played some Smash Bros. And I'll talk about that later.
Hell yeah. Nice.
So yeah. It also hit the 90s for the first time this week.
I wish any of my roommates and I had the rapport by the time we were done living together to feel the need to do a last hurrah. Because I'm pretty sure any of my roommates and I, we were just happy to see the backside of each other and never again.
Yeah, well, Jess and I were friends in college. We lived together in college. And then we chose to live together again after college. Although like there was a year in between. So we've lived together more than once and for a total of 4-ish, little over 4 years now.
Nice. She's finally breaking free of her prison.
Yeah, she's finally getting rid of me.
I was gonna say, who's in the prison there?
I left it up to whoever's interpretation.
I'm in the prison of peace.
I don't
I
need
will
to die
never have
tonight.
to hear about Final Fantasy or Breath of the fucking Wild again.
That's funny.
Most Marshall, how are your weekends?
Mine was good. I had off last week, so last week was nice.
Yes. And I failed you as a friend last week.
Oh, dude, we did a bunch of stuff. Kelly and I did some day trips, and then I played a lot of WoW. But Saturday, what the heck did we do Saturday? See, I can't even remember. I think we took the dogs for a walk and hung out, made dinner at the house, and then yesterday we went over to the neighbor's house and grilled out and just sat in the backyard and drank beers and caught up with each other. It was a good time, and it was nice out. Yesterday was beautiful weather, and both our backyards, we have like huge maples in our yards. And I think his is a pin oak. His are pin oaks though, but mine are maples up front. And so like we can go sit in the front yard, the backyard, wherever we want to sit, and it's in shade and it's nice and cool. And so that's what we did. So weekend was a lot of fun.
Maples up front, pin oaks in the back. It's a yard mullet.
That's right.
It wasn't nice out. It was like 90 degrees. That's not nice out. It was like uncomfortable.
It's nice for like 30 seconds and then you start to sweat. And then it's just like, no, this sucks.
We set up the giant blow up water slide for the girls. They like that. They're enjoying the new swing set.
I was gonna say that came this weekend too, right? Or early last week or whatever.
Yep.
Week. Nice.
They like that, but yeah, it was hot. It was very hot.
It's only gonna get worse.
Yay! But good weekend, relaxing otherwise.
Nice.
So for me, it was a wonderful weekend. I'm not going to start there though. I'm going to start with a week ago today when I was supposed to be on this show. So I had done the long weekend thing last weekend, and usually that means I have most of, if not all, the next weekend or the next week off. Sometimes it goes that way. So Monday about 4:00, Moose and I were mid Monster Hunter. And I got a text from my boss saying, so we're going to need you at 8:30 tomorrow. And I'm like, shit, I've been up for like almost a day. And if they want me at 8 or if they want me at 8 in the morning, there's no way I'm going to be able to podcast and be able to get enough sleep. So I'm like, So it's about that point where I said, Moose, I'm not going to be on the show tonight. And then I let you guys know because I was admittedly starting to crash as well. So usually like I can just power through, but so I get on the train on time, barely. I had to sprint, but and then as I get off the train, I get a call, and it's my boss. I'm like, she said 8 o'clock. She couldn't be wondering where I am, and she calls me and says, "Yeah, we're not going to need you today. So you can have the day off." So this sent my week into a weird tailspin of always being fucking exhausted and not being able to sleep. So I knew I had some other stuff to do throughout the week. I was trying to get some cleaning done in here. I got some cleaning done around the house. And then Thursday rolled around, and this is where the good stuff happens. We both had the weekend off because I started Monday through Friday this weekend. And we went to the mountains. So we left Thursday night, stayed Friday to Sunday, and then on Friday, one of Reba's closest friends from a prior job has a place up there as well, about an hour away from where ours is. And it was the first time I hung out with friends since I don't know how long. And everybody was vaccinated, and it was like the first time I got hugs from people.
It's like, look, I'm like, what people?
I'm like probably about 30 minutes in, I'm like, I basically stopped all conversations. I'm like, does anybody else feel that? And they're like, what? Do you feel like a shaking? Did a truck go by? I go, no, I feel a genuine emotional rush of human connection. And it's something I've not felt in at least 18 months, it feels like. And then, Reba looks at me and goes, oh, well, thanks. I go, you know what I mean, Reba.
I live with you, you idiot.
I'm not going to call her that. She's a master's level therapist.
Listen, you got to live on the edge a little, buddy.
I will live on the edge. I am not going to roll into the nameless king fight naked. Sorry, just not doing it. That's not my life.
It's actually fun, though.
I was actually going to say you can win the nameless king fight naked.
I did it hitless, SL1 naked.
I know people can. See? I'm not saying it can't be done. I'm saying I'm
while
not going
singing
to
White Christmas. Just
okay. I don't care. Number one. Number two, I don't want to have that fight with my wife. Okay. Love her too much. But anyway, so we did that Saturday and Sunday. It was just, we went to the brewery up there. We went to a bunch of the thrift shops. I looked at records. And I'm gonna complain about Lake Wallenpaupack, Pennsylvania. Y'all fucking up with people not having masks, because seriously, it should not be a point where I'm walking into a place wearing a mask and people start looking at me funny. It's like, no, fuck you. And then I'm also not going to get onto a gun control thing, but open carry, not nearly as, it doesn't make things safer to anybody else. I don't know why you all think that's a thing. End topic. Other than that, got a lot of rest, watched some movies, watched some anime, and had a good old time. How about we talk about games?
Hold on. Just to segue on a lighter note with the open carry, I saw a video this guy showed the worst tattoo he's ever gotten. It's a seal behind bars and a campfire, a concealed firearm. He put it together. He goes, this is the worst thing ever. Concealed firearm. Only a dad can enjoy that, so shut up. Go to games.
Can I ask you a question, Jason?
Yeah.
What's the difference between black-eyed peas and chickpeas? Black-eyed peas will sing you a tune. Chickpeas will only hum us one.
That's pretty good. All right, that was good.
Laugh, Michaela. Laugh.
That was a good one, Michaela. That was stupid, but that's like a kid's joke too. Like, it's
Yeah,
like
there it is.
it's in that small territory where it's like a dad joke, and the kid can tell it. And it's funny. Like,
Now, to make matters worse, Cardi B is a twin who's a gym instructor named Cardi.
no. I saw that one coming as soon as I said Cardi B. No, that doesn't work.
Anyone play the
Too
game?
obvious. It's too obvious and dumb.
Anyone play any games?
No.
Did.
Okay,
But
moving on.
Michaela, what games did you not play? Congratulations on your near platinum, by the way. Congratulations. I wasn't here last week for that.
Thank you. I played not a lot. I played 3 different games, but I didn't play a lot of them because I just haven't had time between family stuff and moving stuff. But Jason and I played a little bit more Borderlands.
Didn't have 0.
Yeah. We went to Athena's, yes.
And Promethea.
And Prometheus. But Athena's was my favorite area so far aesthetically. I have a lot of questions about how the whole siren shit works, but I was very confused when she was like, I know that this younger person is gonna be a siren, and I asked Jason, how does that work? And he's like, I don't know. And then Lilith didn't know either. I'm like, okay, so I'm not the only one who doesn't understand this shit.
Neither did Gearbox.
But
also, shout out to you for choosing Mose. That's my character too. Yeah, Mose rules.
I didn't know that was your character. Good to know. But yeah, no, enjoying that. I think we only played once this week, right? Yeah. I played a little bit of my backlog game, I think, at some point. I don't even remember anymore. And then this weekend, like I said, Jess and I set aside I don't know, 2 hours at some point to play some Smash Ultimate before packing up the last of the gaming stuff that was in the living room. Because that's something when we were in college. After I finished my thesis in college, I brought my GameCube up and we would all play Smash Melee in our apartment. And then at our friend's apartment across the way, they had a 64 and we would play the original Smash. So Smash has kind of always been our game. And Jess is actually pretty good at it. She's a pretty savage Peach main. She plays as Peach, Zelda, and Kirby and Pikachu are like her 4 most used characters. But we were just kind of dicking around.
Kirby.
Yeah. Also, we are most used to the old school controllers. Like I have GameCube controllers for the Switch, but I had already packed those. So we were both using, I was using the Joy-Cons in the holder and she was using my Switch Pro controller. And the buttons are just so wrong if you're used to a GameCube controller for Smash. So we both really just sucked. I mainly play Fox is my go-to. Followed by some of the Fire Emblem characters.
Did you pick up the 2 new ones that dropped? Not Fire Emblem. Oh, sorry, that was a Xenoblade, wasn't it?
Oh yeah, I don't have the DLC for Ultimate. Okay. I might at some point because I like a lot of the characters that they put in there. Like there are Fire Emblem characters, new ones. There are the Xenoblade ones. There's Joker. There's Dragon Quest Hero. I just don't play Smash enough, often enough to have justified buying the DLC myself yet.
It feels like it also be something to because it never goes on sale. It's one of those things where it's like when you get a gift card and you're like, there's a $25, Visa gift card or whatever. I'll put it on the eShop and buy that DLC I've been looking at. You know what I mean?
Yeah, or if
it's kind of something like that too.
Yeah, if I ever had my friends, so Jess and I would play with a group of friends. If they ever came up for a visit, I would be like, oh, this is a good occasion to buy the DLC for or something like that. But yeah, we mostly we played with all the items on and stuff like that. And we were I don't know, we just had fun. Jess has a nasty habit of forgetting where explosive are on the screen, so a bomb will stand up right behind her and stuff like that. She tends to get blown up.
I have to remember that.
Yep.
I sure know a bomb. She'll be all right.
My favorite thing to do is when I have an explosive is to run around and yell, Jess, I have a present. And she's like, no, I don't want it.
Stay away from me.
Yeah, I have all of the characters that aren't in the DLC unlocked, but I've maybe played 20 hours of Ultimate. So there's a lot of times I forget what a lot of the items do that I'm like that aren't in Melee but are in Ultimate. So at one point we're just like, what is this? What is this? What is this? And at one point it was like a hornet's nest.
Oh yeah, the Animal Crossing hornets. Yeah.
Yeah, and I was like, what is this? And I was like, bees? And Jess was like, bees, and then she was just like swarmed the whole time. It was great. We had fun.
Nice.
The Final Fantasy VII
Reenacting that scene from Tommy Boy. Bees everywhere.
Well, I think of the card from Cards Against Humanity that's got a question mark. It's just bees. That's one of them. But yeah. Oh, and I play as Cloud, obviously, now that we have Ultimate.
Obviously.
Yes, obviously. So but yeah, that was my gaming for the week.
Do you find that so like my question kind of like links to like me playing old school Mario Kart games and really not liking the latest one. I just play it with my niece and nephew to own their ass because that's what an uncle's supposed to do. I hate the algorithm that they use for that game now. I think it's trash. I think 64 is the best. So my question is, do you feel you only played 20 hours of it? Is it because you're not in school with your friends anymore? You don't like the game anymore, or it's just not hitting the right note? Like,
I think I would have a lot more hours in it if I was like still in college with my friends.
Okay.
Because it's very much
so that was more of like a party-ish game for you than it was like, I'm going to play this solo as well. Because I know Matt's been tearing into it since he picked it up. I don't know if he's played it recently, but he was playing it solo.
I have never played Smash Online with randos, and I don't know that I want to because
probably not.
I don't do that either.
Yeah. So, but I would play with I play with my friends. That's
okay.
Because also when I was growing up with Smash, it was GameCube for the most part. It's the one that I played 64 as well, but the one I have the most hours in is GameCube, and there was no online for that. So
is that Melee?
Yeah, Melee.
Okay.
And also Double Dash was my Mario Kart because I had a GameCube. So.
Right. Yeah, Double Dash was awesome.
Yeah. I like Double Dash. Don't make that face.
Here's the thing. I don't think Double Dash is bad. It's just not my favorite. And I will never be the defender of it that most people are. And frankly,
that's okay, because you don't have to be.
Exactly. I don't get the evangelism for Double Dash. I just don't. I will never understand that. But it might be because I'm old. Who knows? But
get off your lawn.
Cool. Boy, I have a tiny lawn. If you're stuck on it, that says more about you than me.
It is a tiny
lawn. But because you mentioned it, I've not been playing a ton of Smash recently because I've been for a long time. I was trying to play fighting games with Reba, and she does not like Smash. So I started doing that like long RPG thing just as something to do solo, and that's fascinating. But I think I passed through that first difficulty spike, and I'm in the midst of the second, and some of that is really weird and archaic. But I recommend trying it just because it's actually kind of interesting. Moose or Jason, who's been playing games this week?
Moose?
I've been playing a shit ton of WoW. So running transmogs, raids, and dungeons and stuff. Still trying to complete my judgment set. I have more than the shoulders now. So I think I need the wrists, the belt, and the the helm, and then the boots. So anyways, that's all in one freaking raid, which only resets once a week. So it's a lot of fun running that all the time. But been working on so once you hit the end of the campaign, you can join a covenant. So I've been doing my covenant quests. I'm in chapter 7 of 9. From what I've heard, chapters 8 and 9 move a little bit faster than the other chapters. I feel like it's coming to a head because like the covenant I'm in kind of does like a retread. So like the campaign for Shadowlands has you go to the different sections and do like kind of join the people there and team up with them and clear out stuff for their area to kind of like take back, hold of their territory. And so now I'm kind of going to their areas and kind of doing missions on my own, but also helping them to gain powers for my covenant. And so I'm on the last one, which is why it's chapter 7. And I think 8 and 9 are just going to be like a little bit, like shorter, like story burst stuff instead of like a lot of mission stuff. So I'm looking forward to finishing the Covenant. And then I've been running the Torghast towers, which is pretty cool, which is where the kind of the roguelike comes in. Jason's explained it before, I believe, haven't you? We've talked about Torghast. Yeah, so it's fun. I like some bosses are assholes soloing, and then they're like completely easy, obviously, like if you're running with one other person or something. So it just depends. It's RNG. And so there are a lot of like so basically you get memories that drop in the Torghast, and then what you could do is you unlock a rune carver who can craft legendaries for you. And so you need like a rune vessel, you need 2 missives, so it's like like boost your haste, which increases whatever, and your critical strike. And then you need to have a memory to apply to it, and then your legendary piece takes on that property. Well, I have all the pieces, but I have to get more soul ash to unlock his ability to create my legendary for me. And so I need to run the Torghast to do that. So like, while I'm not only like jumping between doing my Covenant stuff, I'm also doing world missions to try and get better gear, or what they call conduits, because if you join your Covenant, you can soul bound with people, and then they kind of have like a talent tree, and then you can take these conduits. So like you have a power that's like Avenging Wrath, which increases your holy damage by like 15% for like 10 seconds. So a conduit could make it like 20 seconds. It could double the time or double the percentage of damage you do. And so you're going to want to try and get those on the world map every day you log in, try and look around and see what works for you. And I've even been trying to collect the ones that are not specific to a Ret Paladin. I've been picking up Protection, and I've been picking up Holy Ones, because me and Muffins and another guy that we hang out with regularly during the week, he has a Warlock, and then Muffins runs a Death Knight. And so his Death Knight is DPS, but he just got a weapon to tank. And I said, you should try tanking. I'll try the healing so that Feral can do DPS instead of healing. And I said, we all kind of like switch roles a little bit. Not that he wasn't tanking before, but him and I, when we would run on our normal characters, on our actual specs, me and Muffins are DPS, and then Feral was healing. And so it'd be a lot better for him to have someone who's dedicated to taking more damage than just being a DPS person that can take damage. And so we're going to try that out and go through the Torghast. And then I'd like to try the raid. Muffins has done the raid, and he pugged it, and he was like, this is actually pretty easy. And I was like, well, I need to do that sometime. So it's just like, I'm like Mass Effect Legendary Edition, what? I'm like, although my problem with that is like I came to the conclusion that I wanted to stream it, which I have. I streamed 2 days of it, and so I need to get more on that. So I'll probably pick up another night this week. And my problem is I don't want to play a completely different character, because I'm like, I don't want to double down on playing 2 characters in one game. So I'm going to start streaming more like towards the tail end of the week, like maybe like a Wednesday, Thursday, Friday type deal, and start really pushing to beat the three games. Cause I still need to beat Mass Effect 3. Like when all the controversy about the story happened, I just bowed out. I was like, I don't want my memories of that game series being ruined by that. And then they came back and kind of fixed it. And now I'm like, I think it's been enough time that I can go into it and still appreciate it, even if I don't like what they did to fix it, quote unquote, fix it, some people say. But anyways, I've been playing, that I streamed last week. So I've been playing Mass Effect as well, which I'm enjoying. And then my backlog game, which I'm thoroughly enjoying. Last week, Matt and I played Monster Hunter, but I talked about that. And then we need to get back on that, man, sometime, during the week. Have some fun with that again.
I was actually hoping to do a little bit of that last night, but then I did the Elusive Target and Hitman. And then Reba said, hey, want to play Under Night? I'm like,
you always say yes.
I mean, yeah.
You're like, let's play.
So we played a bunch of Under Night. But anyway,
nice.
Continue.
So that's been pretty much it. Like all I've been playing. Yeah, because WoW's been a lot of it trying to push through a Covenant story, doing transmog runs, and then because like I was also chasing achievements. Like there's achievements for like doing all the dungeons for all the expansions, and so I cleaned up all the raids. There's a raid achievement and there's a dungeon achievement, and I cleaned them all up for the base World of Warcraft, quote unquote classic, and then Burning Crusade, which was the first expansion. And now I'm going to move on to Wrath of the Lich King, which has more like the first two are usually just like beat it on heroic, beat it on normal, beat it on heroic, beat it on normal. This one's more like now you have to beat this boss with nobody taking this type of damage within 10 seconds or whatever. Like it has some really weird. It's the ones where the achievements started to get crazier to actually unlock them. And me and Muffins were talking about it. I'm like, yeah, there's gonna have to be a lot more research than just the two of us running into the dungeon or raid and just like wiping things out. So it'll be a lot of fun. It's a nice thing to take a break from when you're like bouncing between doing world quests, your covenant stuff, like Torghast and mythics when your guild is like, hey, we're gonna go run a mythic, and it's like, yeah, I'll run a mythic because that'll actually get me good gear. So yeah, let's do it. Also it's a nice learning process. But yeah. So heavy on the WoW. Jason.
I played a bit of everything. I played everyone's backlog game. I started.
Everyone's backlog. So you started to ease Origin?
Yep. Some golf story because Moose made me turn it on. Well, he didn't make me, but
Well, I asked him to solve an issue for me, and apparently it must have been me because so I asked Jason, I was like, hey, is your Pro 2
Jason beat golf story?
no,
yeah, and he beat it in the time to figure out that the controller worked for it. So anyways, so my Pro 2
I got credits. How did this happen?
What the fuck are you talking about?
my Pro 2 controller wasn't working with Golf Story. And so I messaged the group and I was like, hey Jason, I was like, can you do me a favor and see if your Pro 2 controller works with Golf Story? And he's like, yeah, give me a second. I'm like, it's no rush. And then you're like, 10, 15 minutes later, he's like, yeah, it works. And I'm like, son of a bitch. So like I think mine just got like locked or something like in rest mode, and coming out of rest mode. It was like, it just didn't want to work. So like I shut the game down, restarted the Switch, and then boom, like it worked. And it hasn't been a problem since. So I was like, okay, cool.
I like turned
So I don't know.
on later and I was like, I must have not closed the game. I'm like, I'll play a little.
It's a fun game to play.
It's a good game, man.
I can't wait for Sports Story. Hopefully that comes out.
The golf is good in Golf Story.
Yeah. It's kind of making me excited for the new Mario game, but anyways.
Yeah. The golf one?
Yeah. What is it? Mario
Rush?
Golf Course. I think
Mario Golf Rush.
Mario Golf Super Rush or Rush. The Rush is in the title. Yes. Yeah.
More Returnal. I reached the third boss. Now that I've seen him, he's going down.
Get him.
Is
this the Nemesis one you were talking about last week?
Yeah, yes.
Okay. You ever figure out what that means?
Is it the Nemesis one? I don't know. Is it? Well, anytime I've seen a boss and then died, the next time I've beaten it. So he's going down when I get there.
Down like a clown show.
Well, they've also added, so they added it, but then they patched this ability. You can, if you're playing online, you can find friends who have died, and you basically can avenge their death. And you get like additional currency in game, but it's not like an easy, like you avenge it and then it's all of a sudden area in lockdown. Fuck!
Why did I do this? Why did I do this? Why did I do this?
Who are you? I don't want to offend you, damn it.
I really like you. It's Jeff. Fuck him.
It's what's
Poor
cool
Jeff.
So you see, they're like echoes, like they're like remnants of their soul, and you see them kind of backtrack to their body. So you watch them die. Like you'll see like one of them jump around, like, and then it says like death by so and so. So it's kind of cool watching it, and you could choose then if you want to avenge them or not. You don't have to,
So you're not forced into it. Okay.
No, but the
Nice,
currency
nice.
you get for doing it is kind of worth it. But like sometimes you get it in the first room where you're not equipped, and it's like a giant monster, and you're like, "Fuck! All right, well, restart this run."
Or just dash a lot.
Yeah, played Borderlands with Michaela. Played Borderlands on my own and beat the raid boss that they added, which was fun.
Nice.
It was like a 20-minute fight. Shit was insane. You're from Borderlands 2, Moose, and maybe Matt, the VAR kid that keeps transforming.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's that on steroids. And there's 2 of them.
Ugh.
Ugh.
Awesome. Sounds like fun.
Oh.
So that was fun. I played a bit of backlog roulette. I let Michaela pick a random game from my backlog. I started The Sun and Moon. It's a platformer. It's a
Okay.
very simple platformer. It's just a dot, but you can kind of alter gravity, and you basically have to collect the 3 orbs and then get out of the level. And it's one of those things that's timed, so like you beat it in 10 seconds, and it's like gold medal 7 seconds. Shit, I gotta redo this. Like it's that like obsession with no, I'm so close.
Better than this.
This level, do better, fuckface.
Like one of those, you play for a half hour and you realize you're only in the 3rd level still because you keep retrying.
Funny.
In there.
I tried Knockout City, the dodgeball game. It's interesting.
I'm gonna try this game this week. Hopefully, I really hope.
Yeah,
to
it's
try
a
this
free
this
trial this week till.
It's on Game Pass on PC, so I'm gonna try it.
Yeah, it's on. I played it on PlayStation. I think it's on Switch too. It's interesting. If it has legs, I mean, I joined a couple games quick.
That's probably going to be what's going to be its saving grace, is you can get into a match quick.
What's cool is it's very simple. R2, at least on PlayStation, R2 picks up the ball, you hold it, and then let go to throw it. L2, you basically catch it, and if you time it right, you get like power up. Like if you catch it right at the last second, it's like a bonus, and then you could hurl it back faster, and that's it really. And then jump, and so it's simplistic in that, and it's kind of, remember that Rocket Arena that came out? It feels like that, just dodgeball.
Okay.
So,
I mean, I've seen like screens of it and like highlights of it on Twitter, and it looks like if you get into the right game, it could be fun. Or if you happen to have, a group of people that are interested in playing it, and you vibe with that it looks like it could be a fun time.
matches can take a while because it's not just the matter of, we're not talking like Overwatch. You just, whoever shoots more, like you could throw it, they catch it, they throw it, you catch it. You can go back and forth for a while, and it's like, oh fuck. But it's, I mean, free trial. If it wasn't the free trial, probably wouldn't have tried it. But it was entertaining, and I think that's it. Yeah, that's about it. But yeah, played a bit of everything, so I'll be able to talk about all of your backlog. Maybe.
Cool.
I could definitely talk about Golf Story because I have played parts of it before, and I'm playing more. We'll see how far I get in Origin.
What character did you start with? I'm just curious.
I don't even. I played so briefly. I started it. I just like,
He powered it up, picked a character, and said, "Yeah,
he hit X a bunch, and then something happened, and then
honestly,
he had
if
to
I
leave.
turned the PlayStation on, it's probably in rust mode. I probably didn't even get that far. We'll see how far I get, but I am enjoying mine. And yes, I know it's a sin. I haven't played Uncharted. Well, I played one. I played Golden a bit.
That's fuck that. If that's a sin, like we should be way bigger assholes to Michaela, who's never played a Zelda game. Like, and none of us are gonna do that, because if we did, I'd be pissed. So
what's weird is, and very briefly, I must have started it after I beat the first one, when I played the first one back during Nerds Gone Platinum, because I started and I looked, I'm in chapter 6. So like it's not like I was like and Uncharted on the remaster saves weird. You can save wherever. So I was in cover in a firefight when I loaded in. I was like,
Awesome.
what?
Like it's
He's just like, I know I wanted to play the game. I didn't know I
You
was going
turned
to immediately be
Uncharted-
playing the game.
No,
you turned Uncharted into the beginning of Memento. Like,
I started. Well, I pushed start and I went to get a drink. I'm like, I knew it wouldn't load long because it was the PS5, but I'm literally in a firefight when I get back. I'm like, wait, what happened? And then I'm like, oh, I must have, because like 3 trophies popped immediately, like 5 headshots in a row. I'm like, that was my first one, but it must have saved. I had 4 before. And I will say I do enjoy competing with my friends list. Like I achieved more explosive kills than Michaela did.
Thanks.
yeah.
Like it popped up and it was like more kills than Michaela. I'm like, oh, all right. And then it was like my brother-in-law's PSN name came up. I'm like, oh, I forgot they did that in this game.
Surprise.
There's nothing more satisfying than an intangible like fuck you to someone who may never actually see it.
It's a really cool feature. I will say that. I wish more games it's kind of cool seeing that, like see your friends what they've done and then kind of eclipsing that. It's like, oh, but yeah, that's about it.
Cool. So I had a weird gaming time over the past week. I played Monster Hunter with Moose, and I love Monster Hunter Rise. I'm finding it harder and harder to think about going back to World, but I'm still going to do it because I guess for science at this point, I don't even know. But I did sit down and play a whole bunch of Genshin Impact on my PC. And let me tell you, this game, y'all, you should try it. It's a lot of, like, for some reason, it was doing things to me that both Breath of the Wild did and Nier Automata or Nier Replicant does. Not because, like, there's bullet hell segments, because there's really not. Michaela, I see you furling.
I mean, I played a couple hours of Genshin Impact, so I'm waiting for the explanation.
The explanation is,
Gina.
The explanation is, like, I think we can be honest here. Nier Replicant's combat is not in depth. Doesn't really. There's not a lot to it. There's a parry button you can use, or you can completely avoid it and be fine.
Yeah, if you're on hard mode, you gotta need it.
Right, but I'm just saying you can ultimately avoid it. I mean, hell, you can turn on autoplay and just watch the sickest shit happen. It's great. But in Genshin Impact, it is a very simple system of switching party members based on elements, using those elements in a very Breath of the Wild fashion. And you can also use those elements to traverse the world in fun ways. Like if you see something in the middle of a lake, you can pull out your ice guy, start firing ice at the water and walk out to it. It's really kind of brilliant, but the combat is not hard in any stretch. Doing some of the weird little character event things that happens where it brings everything up to level 80 so you can see max level shit happen is kind of fun. But what I spent most of my time doing was I would look at what quests I have and just try and do one. I'm not playing this game. I'm playing this game kind of the way Moose talks about Breath of the Wild, where like, oh, I'm gonna go try and find some Korok seeds, or I'm going to go to this area and just see what kind of shenanigans I can get into. Well, I did that in Genshin Impact, and I got to this point in the map where I see something in the sky. I'm like, okay, I don't know what that is, but I'm gonna go find it. I went and found it, and there's like there's a little puzzle there that opens up another thing that you can do with like a glider in a Breath of the Wild situation. And it's a warp gate. And it took me to another place that I had never been to. And then all of a sudden I'm in a series of fights. It's not quite Eventide Island where it takes everything away from you and says, figure it out.
That was a good time.
But
That was a good time, actually.
Eventide's a great time. But what I loved about this, because like I got through this, it took me a little more time because everything was kind of higher leveled than me. But what I loved about this was every time I did something, I had more questions in a way that if I were walking through a forest and I saw something on the ground and I picked it up and it was kind of curious, I'd be like, well, what is this? And I would want to try and find out what that is. And Genshin Impact is doing that for me, and playing it in small doses is a lot of fun. Every so often, like I think that day I sat there for like 4 hours and played. And that was like the one real long gaming stretch I had. And the reason I did that, not because I'm going to give up, but because I'm kind of just afraid of the grind in Nier Replicant at this point. Going through that game, trying to find materials is a little grating. I'm also trying to manage my side quests. I got the fishing shit done. I killed or I got the boar thing done. I had to learn the hard way that you can't do the sheep trophy in playthrough B. You have to do it in playthrough A. So I'm like, man, this kind of fucking sucks. Ultimately, like, I'll just have to go and kill a bunch of sheep, restart a save, boo frickety who. But all the side quests I have now, at least all of the ones that I have available to do, are that kind of stupid that I have to be in the mood to go tackle. Like I need to go find a bunch of different materials and bring it back to this person who has a bunch of pigs, and he's going to build something with them. I don't remember what it is. Don't spoil it for me, Michaela, because I'm going to learn eventually.
Build a pig farm.
What?
I would think he'd build a pig farm.
No, it'd be a lot more fun if it was like Snatch, but I don't think it is.
Weary of a man who owns a pig farm.
But
Doesn't
despite
explain who you are.
it doesn't. But also that game, as much as like there's two sections of my brain at war about that game in a way that's not really happened. I don't remember this happening with Automata, but it definitely has happened in my head before. But it's just like, this is bad, but also you need to keep going. and that's probably why I love that game as much as I do. The other thing I did was a definite oldie goodie classic Matt favorite. I played a shit ton of Binding of Isaac. Binding of Isaac Repentance on my PC is it's really delightful. Playing games on my PC is really kind of fun. But I've
better be. You probably played a lot for it.
What I like about Repentance specifically is I feel like, and this has just been my experience with Binding of Isaac as a game, whenever you've bought into expansions or the booster packs that Ed McMillan has done for the game, a lot of that seems like end game things. And as someone who has put a lot of time into Binding of Isaac over the years, it was a wonderful thing to get to the first boss and see something I've never seen before.
Very nice.
Or just going through the first level of the basement, seeing enemies I've never seen before. Now I'd seen things where like I haven't seen these particular enemies in the basement before. Usually you see them later on, but it's that game is so fucking good.
So
if we ever decide to do a top 10 favorite games just ever for whatever reason, like it's going to be really hard keeping that off the list, but it's also like I also, you know, I know my number one, but then like I know my number 1 and 2, and then the other 8 are like, fuck, who knows? But Binding of Isaac is such a wonderful thing. You were about to ask something, Moose.
I was gonna say, so I pre-ordered the physical edition for the Switch. I'd have to look into that, I guess, specifically. But I guess is it kind of its own instance of the game with whatever Repentance does, or does it encompass like Afterbirth and like all the stuff, all the expansions that came before it? Because like I found it weird that you couldn't turn like some of like it was all like when I think I bought Afterbirth Plus. There was Afterbirth and Afterbirth Plus.
Afterbirth Plus was the physical version for the Switch.
Okay, then never mind. So, but I still it's still like interesting how like you know like some DLCs like you can be like I don't want to play this yet or I don't want this to be a part. But it seems like this is just gonna drop everything all into one neat game, which would be nice. And if you know. I don't enjoy what they have to offer, which I don't see why I wouldn't. I can still play Afterbirth Plus because I have it, you know?
Yeah. So, well, ultimately, like the way I could explain Binding of Isaac is probably the way Jason has talked about Dead Cells, where Dead Cells DLC is still Dead Cells. Like you're going to start with a pile of corpses, 2-3 weapons to choose from. You pick one and you're on your way. The routes along the way change. With Binding of Isaac Repentance, it's not going to all of a sudden add like a puzzle element to it, or at least maybe it could in a way that like is appropriate for Binding of Isaac. I haven't seen that yet.
Yeah, but off the bat you haven't seen
it. But what I'm seeing is bosses I've never seen before, and that makes me happy. I've already seen some items that I've never seen before, so it's not like I have to go through beat Ultra Greed on hard mode before I see any of that shit.
Yeah, which is what I'm excited about. So it's almost like I could play Repentance with everything.
Yeah, I mean, essentially, you'll have access to everything. And the one thing, I'll tell you this, the reason why, and I will play this on Switch when it comes out, 100%. There's really no argument here with that. One thing I do love about playing it on PC is you can get a mod that tells you what all the items do. Where when you walk into a treasure room, it says, hey, this does this. And if you don't like that, you leave. Don't take that treasure. And I mean, other than that, like the mechanics are still working. The only thing I've not seen since I've been on PC is an angel room. I've seen plenty of devil deals because I can get through the first couple levels usually without taking damage. But
I feel like that mod would kind of destroy the learning experience a little bit, like the joy of like, you know, oh, I picked up this item and then you find out it's crap. And so, you know, you die in a glorious way. But I feel like it could be something that's useful, like towards like, hey, I'm running this for like the 500th time this year. So I'm really not going to see anything new. And if I do, if this had not been my first rodeo with Binding of Isaac, I would have totally avoided it. But because I've spent the better part of 8 years playing this game, like I've seen a shit ton of items, and I just need to know what the new shit I'm going to get does. Because I'm looking to start. You're looking to maximize your time with it.
I'm looking to maximize my time with it because also a lot of these achievements that I'm getting on Steam, I've already done before other places. So I'm just kind of like, I'd like to get to where I was on another system because you can't. Far as I know, you can't really cross save all that, which I don't mind. If this were a worse playing game, I would be pissed, or I would just not do it on another platform. But Binding of Isaac is one of the best roguelikes ever. It is up there with Spelunky. It's up there with, I mean, Dead Cells belongs in that conversation at this point. Invisible Ink belongs there, and you know, plenty of others that we could mention. But Binding of Isaac is still just a shit ton of fun, and I do love when Reba comes in here and says, "So what are you doing?" Like Binding of Isaac. She's like, "Okay, I'll leave." While I don't do that as a Reba repellent, I do like that she knows kind of what she's in for. And then lastly, like we played Under Night last night, and fuck, man, Under Night is really good. Under Night is such a good fighting game. I after she went to bed, I went through the story mode of Under Night, and it is the story mode of a fighting game like Under Night is probably going to piss off at least one of y'all, because it is an anime as hell visual novel. So that rules out Jason.
Jason's out.
And
That's a twofer.
what I loved about this is just like, I've watched 3 hours of text at the minimum, and I don't know what happens, but for some reason I'm okay with it. Under Night's really good. It's a really good fighting game, and it's a really fun like pick up and play and just button mash, because cool shit does happen. Very much like Guilty Gear, and I'm glad that 2021 has seen me play a couple of these games, and I kind of can't wait till June when Strive comes out, because I'm probably going to play that. That's it for me.
Well, we got some news this week.
What's the news?
There's a lot.
Are we leading with what I think we're
Nope.
leading with? Okay,
Nope.
cool.
David.
Jeff Keighley announced Summer Game Fest is back June 10th.
Yay, a not E3.
Devolver Digital announced 4 games will be announced.
At Keeley's thing?
Yeah, I think they
So
said
4 out of the 12 world premieres are just Devolver?
I'm cool with that. It's not
Damn.
not enough.
No, it's not.
That's 8 too little.
Not with as much different things that they've been doing of late.
Well, it's weird how like Devolver's grown to the point where games get advertised and you don't even realize till like 3 trailers in, you're like, oh, Devolver's doing this.
It started with Grease, and they've just been on there was like, yeah, now we're gonna do Loop Hero, which changes things in a way that fuck Devolver's good, man.
The Last of Us 2 stealth dropped the PS5 patch. It was just one of those, hey, the patch is available. 4K 60 FPS, which is cool.
Appropriate for a stealth game.
Ni no Kuni 2 is getting a Switch port September 17th.
That's not surprising. It's actually a little overdue if you ask me.
I'm just like, took them this long?
Yeah, but I did not like that game personally.
Speaking of overdue, we might get a Time Splitters revival. Free
Sweet.
Radical Design is
When was the last time there was a Time Splitters game? I didn't look it up.
what?
It's been a while.
Oh, it's been a while.
Is that
What
the
was that?
90s?
Been a long time.
I told Jason when we were playing Borderlands, I'm pretty sure Time Splitters was the first ever FPS game I played as a kid. It was my cousin's.
Is that the 90s?
But no, that couldn't have been when the last one came out.
No, 2000s. It was on PS2.
Times, yeah.
Okay.
How
2000.
my
dead
friend.
is Time Splitters?
Time Splitters was in 2000.
Yeah.
October of 2000. Time Splitters Future Perfect was 05. PlayStation 2 though.
Yeah, I was gonna say it died on the 2. So
Who wants to play Pinocchio?
What
No.
kind of game is it?
No, have you not seen this? It
Oh,
looks
I
weird.
missed this.
Oh, Lies of P was announced. It is a Bloodborne-esque game in a Pinocchio setting.
So they're trying to do something
let's
super
go.
dark and
Go
gothic
on.
with a Souls-like combat in it. and lying is a mechanic in the game that determines your path through the story and the ending.
I'm in. I'm
It
in.
is a bizarre fucking concept.
Good.
Look up the trailer.
Good.
Look it up.
It's,
You got to look at this.
yeah.
Okay.
Okay, I don't have sound on my PC, but I will at least look at it because holy
It
shit.
is, yeah.
What's it called?
Lies of P.
P.
Which
Like-
I don't love the name.
No,
Just
I'm not.
P.
Just the
Yeah,
letter.
just P. Lies of the letter P.
I mean, that's, I feel like it should be soundtracked by the Rentals, but I think I'm the only one that's going to get that reference.
They could have just called it Pinocchio Born and dealt with the copyright strike.
Oh shit, this image is blood. Oh my God. Like this first image is that DLC outfit you get, the soldier outfit.
Yeah, it's yeah. EA is opening a new studio in Seattle. It's headed by the former VP of Monolith, who made Shadows of Mordor and War. It is an open world action adventure game, so we'll see what that is. Tri-Ace, the Star Ocean studio, is working on a PS5 RPG game.
It's been a while. I want to say the last actually new Star Ocean game was circa 2016, and that was Star Ocean 5, and it did not go well. And then of course, winter before last, we had the First Departure R revamp. I would like to see Star Ocean come back from the grave because that is a classic JRPG franchise that is.
Okay. I'm sorry. I'm sorry to interrupt this train, but like, okay, so looking at this Pinocchio thing, there is a human person dragging what looks like a vault behind them. And that gives me very good spaghetti western Django energy, which is a hero that dragged a coffin behind him. This man just vomited up a mouse.
It's a weird looking game.
And now I recognize, oh man, bearded Kenny Rogers in a monocle. Okay, I'm kind of in.
Let's do it.
I'm not even watching anymore. I'm a minute 20 into this trailer and it has sold me. Do we know the release date?
No.
Okay, so there's plenty of time for me to die off of this excitement, but
Yes.
Do weird shit with games, especially weird shit with IP. Especially weird shit with IP that were designed to, freak out people when it originally came out. So do that.
GTA 5 has a next gen release date. November.
Color me unsurprised.
I mean, we knew it was coming. We just didn't have the date.
This one was weird. Microsoft announced a joint conference with Bethesda. Isn't it just Microsoft at this point?
Yeah, that's a Microsoft conference.
And then everybody pooped themselves about Starfield.
Oh yeah, what the hell? What was that about? Like, are you shocked? Are you serious?
I don't understand why people are so hyped for this game when we know almost nothing about it besides the name.
Because the tagline of this show now.
Good point.
Steam introduced full DualSense support for PC games. Haptic feedback and all. Which is really
That's cool.
cool.
As someone who just figured out how to hook up his DualShock 4 to use it on Steam, thank you, Steam. I'm gonna buy me a DualSense now if they're in stock.
Well, they're just
they
supplied 2 new colors, so
Hell yeah. They
I
didn't
like
do a
the
pink
red one.
They didn't do
but
a
it's-
pink one. They didn't do a pink. Dude, just do a
you
pink
can
one.
pretend the red one is pink.
No, you don't pretend red is pink.
Yeah, you do.
No, you don't. Not when your pink is your favorite color, Moose.
Alrighty then.
And I saved the best news for last. I don't even know how to approach this.
Should we just let Michaela do it?
Well, hold on. I'll build it up for her. So earlier in the week,
Buttercup baby, just let her down.
there were rumors that E3 Time would see the announcement of a Final Fantasy for exclusive to PS5. Today, Michaela?
Look at her face. She's like bursting.
Hold
like
on,
what is going on
hold on.
here, Michaela?
Hold on. Before we end on a higher note, Nintendo did a Nintendo thing with Skyward Sword and introduced a
Oh yeah.
amiibo that has a feature in Skyward Sword that is locked behind the amiibo. Fast travel can be used in the game, which wasn't in the original, but you need the amiibo. And this amiibo
Now I
costs
know.
more than normal amiibos. It's $25. So on top of the $60
60.
price tag, another $25 for fast travel. Way to go, Nintendo.
Well, maybe that's just like we don't want you to hate Skyward Sword again, so we're gonna give you ways to hate it. We're gonna give you ways to hate it before you play it, or something.
Yes.
Nothing makes sense.
No.
Nintendo gets away with shit that other companies would get so railed on for.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
The
right.
rumor is the new Final Fantasy exclusive to PS5 will be a Souls-like RPG. Continue.
Being worked on by fucking Team Ninja. It is a Neo Final Fantasy game. And the rumors won't stop, and they won't leave me alone because now
Because,
if
like, I have
this
to
isn't
work.
real,
I have
I'm
to
gonna
work.
cry. And if it is real, I'm gonna cry.
So we have the title for this episode, Final Fantasy Prepare to Cry Edition.
There we go.
Yes.
Yes.
That's a good.
Is Bonnie gonna sue us? No. But like seriously, so the way this all came about, so the person who's been talking and the leaker, the insider, who's been spinning up these rumors is called Navtra. And originally they're like, okay, there's an unannounced Final Fantasy game that you should expect at E3. So like not FF16, not more Endwalker trailers. And they also said not FF7 Remake Part 2. They said it would be a side title. So people are like, WAF, Tactics. For a while this weekend, I literally had to leave Twitter because it was pissing me off how many people are like, Tactics. I'm like, Square Enix has Project Triangle Strategy come out. You think they're going to compete against their own SRPG with a Final Fantasy SRPG that will outsell it no matter what the fuck they do? No. So the internet was pissing me off. They're also treating this rumor like it's fact. And then...
wait, you mean gamers, right?
Yes, gamers.
Yes,
gamers. My biggest problem in life is gamers. And then the newest update from Navtra and everybody, and now there's other sites confirming like this leak is real. I'm like, it's still leak, it's still rumor. Square Enix is not commenting on this. Calm down. But they're saying it is Team Ninja working on this. It is like Neo, but more accessible in terms of the gameplay, but still a Souls-like.
I heard Jedi Fallen Order accessible.
Yeah. And they it's supposedly called Final Fantasy Origin.
Bad title.
Yeah, bad title. But
Well,
it's
they already
Square
did
Enix.
that for PlayStation 1, didn't they?
That's Origins. I think it's like there's
it's
a
1
one
and
letter
2.
difference.
Well, the
It's
one
1
that
and 2.
Michaela hasn't mentioned, I heard there's ties to the original Final
Yes, it's supposed to be like in the same world as it's an origin story for the franchise. And there's supposedly a public like alpha or beta planned for this summer. Again, if all of these rumors are true, I'm going to explode no matter what, because now this has gotten to the point where I was annoyed by the rumor mill because they were all acting like this was fact and screaming about tactics, and I knew that wasn't going to happen. And now I'm at the point where I'm like, if this is not true, it will break my heart, because there are few things in this world that I love as much as Final Fantasy and Neo. And you cannot dangle in front of me a Neo Final Fantasy and then take it away.
I know, Bagel. I know. It's scary, right?
I will burn the world to the ground. I will take y'all with me.
Don't worry. I really hope Michaela's being facetious, Bagel. It's okay. It's okay. I don't think she's actually going to burn the world.
Yes, I
All
am.
right.
Yes, I am.
I mean, she says she will.
She'll save a little corner for you, Bagel.
Yeah.
She's got a soft spot for dogs.
She's got a soft spot for pets. I think
I
you're
do have
okay.
a soft spot for pets,
Yeah, you'll be
specifically
all
the
right.
doggos.
Come here,
But
boy.
yes, if this hype lets me down, because I messaged Jason, I was getting annoyed by it. I was trying so hard to stay away from the rumors and the hype, and then it got to this whole Team Ninja thing, and I was like,
Y'all motherfuckers are gonna make me go violent. That's what she said. Y'all gonna make me get violent.
non capisco che cosa faccia. I was so done.
She's speaking Italian right now.
Yes.
Well,
Bagel understands me.
I will leave off before we head to our close. A fun fact: the original Watch Dogs was actually a driver game in development. Think about that.
Ooh. Yeah.
No, it's. Yep. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So I just want to chalk that up to comments that contribute nothing to a conversation.
Exactly. But you know what? Guess what, gamers?
It's not all about you.
But before we leave,
That was a good fucking segue.
it was, and I'm here to ruin your day. I wanted to. Can I plug something? Just because we didn't.
Yes.
Is it all right if I plug something?
Yes.
Is that all right?
Because it's not all for you.
Yes.
Like you asked,
Ironically,
like he's the boss.
I mean, Jason runs this ship a lot tighter than I ever could. Let's be real. Okay, so so my buddy Jesse and I started a movie podcast. It's a watch and talk show, and it is called Free Reeling It. The first episode is available everywhere now. It's Free Reeling It. We are at Free Reeling It on Twitter, and you should give us a listen. Our first episode was just sort of us going through our top 10s, but our actual first watch is That Thing You Do. And we have another one after that, which I'm not going to talk about here, but we are also like looking for movies to watch. So if you have any suggestions, that's where you go.
Links will be available in the comments, in the description.
Yes, because I write the descriptions when I'm here and remember.
This guy.
So,
bye.
Story Route Zero, we have some cool friends who do some cool things, and I'd like to tell you about them. Phoenix Overdrive uses the power of games and gamers to help heal sick kids through the charity Extra Life. Phoenix Overdrive fundraises for Children's Miracle Network hospitals all year, every year, and the fund culminates in a 24-hour gaming marathon. Find out more about their events and projects online via Facebook at facebook.com/Phoenix Overdrive or on Twitter and Instagram at PHX_Overdrive. You can also join the Facebook group of Pawn Stars at facebook.com/groups/PO Nation in order to share and discuss all the latest in nerd culture. They've also got a podcast, Nerd Overdrive, which you can see weekly at youtube.com/Phoenix Overdrive. You can also catch it on Facebook Live or twitch.tv/PHX_Overdrive. That podcast is also published on Apple Podcasts, Google Play, and Stitcher. You want merch? They got merch. Merch can be ordered from tinyurl.com/PHXOD merch, a portion of which goes to their fundraising efforts. Join the nation and be a hero to sick kids, as El Capitan Rey Osorio, Lee the Maestro, and Becky, the lovely queen of the guild, always say, #Rise Above. Thank you for listening to Story Route Zero. We hope you have enjoyed your time here as much as we've enjoyed having you. Once again, questions, concerns, complaints, pictures of pets, or favorite recipes can be sent to storyroutzero@gmail.com. You can yell at us on Twitter @StoryRouteZero. Rate us and review us on iTunes, YouTube, or wherever you may have found us, as it helps with discoverability. If you'd like to hit us up individually, you can find Moose Cool at Sven, that's SVHENN on Twitter, PSN, Instagram, and of course Twitch, streaming games. You can find Jason Marshall writing at obelisk.co. You can also find him on Twitter at GimpyJ with 2 Y's at the end, as well as PSN, Instagram, and Twitch. He also has his own website, whereisthepausebutton.com. You can find Michaela Crescione doing all sorts of writing at obelisk.co, as well as on Twitter at RedXMod. My name is Matthew Keel. You can find me everywhere I'd like to be at infinite_rewind. That's Twitter, that's Instagram, that's Twitch, that's PSN, and I also have my own website, infiniterewind.com. Be sure to check us out at all the places. You are always welcome, and you will always have a seat waiting for you on this ride. Thank you for listening, but for now, it's back to the real world for us. So we will see you on the next one.